Hi everybody, my name is Kenzie and today I'm going to be doing a presentation on William James. Who is he? William James was a psychologist whose thinking and applications became the basis of teaching in educational psychology. He treated psychology as an experimental psychology-based science. He wrote The Principles of Psychology, which came out in 1890. This book focused on how the human mind is subject to both will and to the Darwinian theories that were becoming very popular during this time. This book included topics of the brain structure, the senses, the self, the instinct, the emotions, the will, the reasoning, and James also discussed his revolutionary theory of emotion, that emotions, contrary to the intuitive way of thinking, are aroused by action. About James. William James was born on January 11th, 1842 in a hotel in New York City. His brother, Henry, was a famous novelist, while his father, Henry, who was a religious psychologist. James did not have great health, which led him down a life of learning and academia. At first, James wanted to pursue art. His family was living in Paris, but then moved to the US so James could fulfill his dreams of being an artist. Doing this, he found a strong interest in chemistry. James then enrolled in the Lawrence Scientific School at Harvard University in 1861. After some time, James became interested in medicine and decided to pursue this. He then entered Harvard Medical School in 1864. While collecting samples for medical school, he got sick with smallpox and found he did not enjoy taking samples. After he recovered, he earned his degree in medicine in 1869. James did not practice medicine after he earned his degree. In 1873, James was strong enough to earn a teaching position at Harvard University for physiology and anatomy. He was an excellent teacher who then transferred his energy to psychology, where he found his true passion. James's contribution. James saw psychology as a study of function on behavior in the world. His perspective was known as functionalism. Functionalism focused on how mental activities helped organisms fit into their environment. Functionalists are also interested in the operation of the whole mind rather than its individual parts. James relied on objective measures like recording devices and examinations of mental activities and of anatomy and physiology. James's beliefs versus others. Many view the principles of psychology to be the first pragmatic view of self because James focused on the aspects of self which include material, social, and me. However, C.H. Cooley published Human Nature and the Social Order, which hold a controversial claim that society and individual are one and any distinction between them. George Herbert Mead also considered a pragmatic view of self. James also shows a distinction between I and me, and shows how that distinction is important for understanding self and identity and predicting how people may act in certain situations. Abraham Maslow differentiates between deficiency needs that motivates human behavior. How James's ideas are important today. James was very influential for establishing Harvard Psychology Department. Functionalism is important for describing why people act the way they do. James studied people's thoughts, desires, and emotions, and how they correlate to society as a whole. What I learned from doing this. I chose to research William James and his contributions to the field of psychology because I think the functionalist view is very relevant in today's world. Functionalism explains how an individual's mental abilities help them fit into their environment. Here's a photo of William James. Thank you guys for watching, and here is my citations.